So do you see impact markets slash Litecoin as complementary to prediction markets, or more as a contender or a competitor?
Yeah, I believe it's all speculation right now because the product doesn't exist, and we may all be humbled. But I believe it's not. It's certainly adjacent and complementary in the sense that the market gives us great answers for probabilities right now, but gives us no answers for impact. And once we have both answers, market-based answers for probability and impact, we essentially have this full picture of the world of projecting financial assets and kind of projecting the future. I will say I don't think that there is going to be a large overlap in the users themselves. I believe there's going to be a large overlap in the users that consume the information. I don't think the overlap is going to be large with the traders themselves. Think about it like that. Take, for example, whether the clarity bill passes. To bet on whether, well, let's first lay out the foundation that to take a trade anywhere, doesn't matter where, which asset, which platform, you kind of have to believe you know better than the market. Even if you're completely wrong and self-delusional, like most people are not going to take a trade unless they feel like they know better. And knowing whether the clarity bill is going to pass or not requires a lot of legal, legislative knowledge. Is like how many votes, what's the process, what's the pipeline, what's the back and forth, to really feel like you get a grasp of how this thing works and what it needs to go through to be accepted, is quite a niche knowledge, and it really depends. It really changes based on the event, right? So again, if you're betting on elections, at the end of the day, you're betting on whether some swing state is gonna, and maybe even down to the county, like what is the county gonna swing blue or red? It's very niche knowledge. Whereas I would say asking those same events, but in an impact angle, most likely, or much more likely, if you already trade assets like BTC, Sol, etc., you probably have some opinion on how the clarity bill passing, whether it's going to be bullish or bearish and how much to Sol, and the elections, what kind of is the intensity of the bullishness or bearishness of each outcome happening, right? Because if you already trade these assets, people I think have a much easier time deluding themselves that they have alpha in things that have to do directly with the assets that they already trade than with very niche questions that they maybe have never really asked themselves. Anyway, all that to say that I think the impact markets audience is going to be more centered around people who already trade assets. And the prediction markets crowd, I think, will have some overlap, but is perhaps more diverse and more specialized than impact markets. Yeah, I would say most people who trade on spot or perps will, I believe, at some point find interest in impact markets, especially one event, once they find an event that they feel they have off on.